Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today's topic is going to be about wall treatments. I know everybody's just used to putting painting on their walls, but I want you to think a little bit outside the box and realize that there's many options and many opportunity to really add some dramatic effect by changing out your walls and making it somewhat unique. So we're going to talk about some of the options that are out there, some of the treatments. Some of them are cost effective, some of them not so much, but they will definitely add a little different design element to any space that you put it in. So the first one I want to talk about is actually very pretty. It is called wall paneling. It's not like the old days where they had wall paneling. It came in very small strips and you just kind of went vertically like that. This one is, as you can see, it's very rich looking. It's very unique. It's gorgeous. Definitely adds a nice elegant element to the room. I'm assuming this is probably going to be a little bit pricey because the material is probably not going to be cheap, and neither is the installation, but it definitely will upgrade any room and it will definitely add warmth to any room. I may not want to do it all to the every single wall on the room, but you can definitely do it on one accent. You can even, if you wanted to, just do it on that fireplace wall, and the rest just paint it out. So keep that as an option. Okay, the next one I want to talk about, take that one out, is your standard true blue painting. Now, there's nothing wrong with painting. I mean, as you can see, that green definitely adds a little interest to the room. Painting is probably the least inexpensive way to renovate a room. You really reinvent the room when you change the colors. It's the easiest to do. It's definitely the most cost effective to do because all you have to do is buy gallon of paint, and if you're able to do it yourself, you can even save yourself some more money that way. But it's definitely the cheapest way to go, and it definitely will reinvent the room just by changing the color. And I'm sure you know that when you move into a new house and you change all the colors to make it your own, right away that changes the whole look of the house. So painting is definitely one option to that. Okay. The next one I want to talk to, and I know that I had discussed this on my other videos, is wallpaper. I know that we had gone into depth with this. Wallpaper, you can add graphic. It can be graphics, sort of like geometric shapes. It can be floral. It can be stone. It can be wood. It completely changes the look of the room. Imagine if it was stone, it would look like it's real stone. If you get really good wallpaper, it has that three-dimensional effect. It looks really pretty. But again, wallpaper is definitely making a comeback, like I said in my other video, and it is definitely an option that I want you to consider. Don't be afraid to put wallpaper on the walls. Okay, the next one I want to talk about is, oh, I love this one. This is one probably my favorite, wood planking. It can be real wood. It can be vinyl. It does. This one here that I'm showing you, believe it or not, is actually made out of pallets. Yeah, you heard me right, pallets. You know those pallets where things are being delivered, like whether if you're having a delivery made and they put it on a pallet. Once they're done, you have all this pallet. Well, that's what they did with it. Obviously, the pallet has to be in semi-good condition, but they stained it and they put it up. Talk about inexpensive option here. If you're able to go around collecting pallets to all those retailers that have them, then yeah, you can do this for like pennies on the dollars. It's a little bit cost. It's a little bit intense as far as work, but the cost would be very little to you because the material is already there. So I think this is a really great idea. Again, maybe not the whole room, but definitely an accent. Okay, the next one I want to talk about, let me just change my notes here. This is kind of unusual. Chalkboard. Okay, comes in different colors, believe it or not. Just doesn't come in black. You can get it in different colors. I would definitely go online and Google it. Some of them even come magnetized. Yeah, so you can have like little things, and you can put it on the chalkboard to magnetize it to stick things up because it's magnetized. It's a really good option. It's great for kids. Now they have the whole wall done here. I actually helped this friend of mine design her office, and she wanted to I told her in this one little particular area by her desk to put some chalkboard. So anytime she has any specials or anything like that, she could just put it on the chalkboard. I mean, it's really easy and acts a really nice element. Now, this is just plain chalkboard, but if you wanted to make it smaller, you certainly can. And then what I would do is I would just go to Home Depot and get some molding and just make a frame around it so it looks really pretty. So those are definitely options you can do. Again, this one's probably very cost effective. The next thing I wanted to talk about is stone. Oh, who don't like some stone on their walls? I know I would. Now, stone is more like a stone veneer, so it's not like a really thick piece of stone. Nowadays, they make stone veneer, and they kind of like interchange each piece, so it's easy to install. You can put this on an accent wall. I would not do the whole space. It would be way too much. You can do this over a fireplace. You can see right here, they didn't do it over a fireplace, but it's a nice accent wall. So that is something that you can do. It's really a beautiful look. I'm assuming the materials are not going to be that inexpensive, but you'll do some shopping. You can, see what you can find out there. And I'm assuming the labor is probably up there as well. But man, oh man, what a feature wall that would be. So, keep in mind stone. The next thing I want to talk to, and I know this one's been around for a while, is brick. Now, here is the here's the old-fashioned version of it. It's just your plain, typical brick. But you can kind of whitewash that. So if it's like 50% paint, 50% water, it kind of gives it a whitewash look. And that means the endless possibility of any color you want to put. You can keep it natural if you want. You can keep, I wouldn't go with the red one. I think it's a little bit outdated, but again, this is a beautiful accent. This was really popular in lofts or apartments. I think it's gorgeous. I add a little bit of a rustic industrial look to it, especially if you have exposed pipes and all that stuff. But there's nothing to say that you can't put it in your home as a residential. I think that's really pretty. So again, keep this one in mind. This is really pretty. This one's kind of unusual. I'm not sure if you're aware of this one. A faceted wall. Now, if you can look at it, you'd see it almost like three-dimensional. The material could be wood, could be concrete, could be plastic, could ceramic, could even be paper. So what they do is it kind of like it's three-dimensional. It's a very unique look. This is just one pattern. I've seen them in waves. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It really is very interesting detail. Would just put it on an accent wall. May not want to do the whole room because you may feel like you're in a padded room if you did something like that. But a feature wall like that would be absolutely beautiful. As you can see here, they have this in a dining room. It does happen to have more of a modern feel to it, so this may not appeal to all the buyers, or I should say all the people out there. It may not appeal to you, but if you want something different, this is something definitely very different to put on your walls. Okay. This one, I think you've probably have seen this if you watch HGTV, which I know I do. And I can't remember what his name was, but he was a guy that used to do a lot of color. He was a really good-looking guy. But anyway, he did that in the bedroom. These are individual blocks. Yes, and I think I've actually seen the kit in Home and Lowe's. They actually sell it. So each block has different widths and different heights, so it gives a nice variation to that. Again, an accent wall, not something I would do for the whole room because I think it's a bit too much. I'm assuming this is very intense labor, so I'm assuming that the cost is probably not going to be inexpensive. It's not something that's gonna be cheap to do. It's gonna be up there as far as cost goes. But hey, what a unique look this will give any space. Okay, so the next one I want to talk about. This is kind of interesting. I never really thought about this, but hey, I could see where it has its place. This is called a pegboard. It's great for organizing. It can be used to hang pictures. You can see here. I think this is great for a kid's room, or if you're lucky enough to have a craft room or a basement where you can kind of put that stuff. Imagine an area where the kids are doing their homework and you can have all those little cups that are hanging out. I mean, you can hang cups in there. You can put their pens in there and their paper clips or whatever it is. You can really make it very interesting. As you can see here, they actually framed the pegboard and they actually painted it. So it's not something that needs to be in the basement. You can definitely put this in, if you wanted to, in a room, maybe like a kitchen. Not so much a dining room, maybe not so much a master bedroom, but definitely a kid's room, definitely a utility room, a basement, even a garage would be really nice to have something like that. So I think this is an interesting effect to the wall. The next thing I want to talk to is about wainscoting. This is the last one. This is the last treatment I want to talk to as far as walls go. Now, wainscoting comes in so many different forms, so many different heights, different styles, different names, variations, and everything. I'm going to start with this one. This is called the box. As you can see, it's just probably like 2x4s wood. They go all the way across and come down, and then that's the wall itself. Most of the wainscoting are always painted in white, and the reason I like it in white is because you can put any color on the top and really have a nice color effect, because it's a wow. It pops when the color is deep against that white. But this is one wainscoting option. Okay. Then now you saw that this one, before I go into the next one, and you saw that this one is kind of it's almost like a shaker style. It's kind of sunk in. All right. Now we have this one. This one is definitely going to be a hell of a lot more money, because where that one just took probably about 2x4, this one is a whole different ball game. As you can see here, it's raised. It's almost like a raised box. It's raised panel. They call it raised box. This is all wood. Lot more detail, lot more intricate work. Probably, no, I know for sure, a lot more expenses as opposed to installing this into your walls. Definitely a high-end look. You may not want to do it everywhere, but if you have one little area that you want, one little space, like maybe an entryway when you're walking into your dining room, definitely a beautiful look. So that's called raised box. Now we have this one. This one's kind of unique. I like this one. It's called a picture frame. I read somewhere on Pinterest where the woman says, you know, if you go out and buy 16x20 picture frames in wood and you just anchor it to the ceiling, it will work. It would work, but then when you get to the point where you're having this one right here where it's smaller, yeah, then you really have to kind of figure out what picture frame you want to put there. But if you just have one simple wall, that probably could work very well. But you can see here, this is a really beautiful look. Sometimes people paint the squares inside. You certainly can. I kind of like it all white because then it becomes color by number, and it's not my particular look, but hey, you can do whatever it is you like. It's certainly up to you. But again, this picture frame is also a very nice look. And I think it pretty much started, let me just do one more. So, okay, this is called, I switched it out. This is called a flat panel. Now, what I want to show you here is this is not your standard height. This is not a chair height. This is, you can see it's almost 3/4 of the way up. This is a really pretty look. And usually what they do here, when you get to this part right here, they make the shelf a little wider. So some people put like decorative plates or whatever it is they want to put on it. But this is a really nice look. It's very elegant. It's very traditional in feel, but it is a really pretty look. This has the, it's called the flat panel, and you can see it's almost like the shaker style. Again, a beautiful look. It is different than this one, which is called a board and batten. Okay, you see the difference? This one has it's all the way to the ceiling, and it has a lot more intricate patterns. Okay, you've got this right here, and you've got this right here. So it's definitely more work involved. So more labor intense. So of course the cost goes up. But this is really beautiful. I see this a lot out in the Hamptons. I see this in $1 million homes all the time, and I see it everywhere with corporate ceilings. We're talking major money because this is a lot of work. This is a lot of trim. Anytime trim is involved, there's a lot of work to it. So the cost goes up. But again, gorgeous. Honestly, I don't think it's, if you're really handy, I don't think it's all that hard to do, because you can see here that this is just 2x4s, and they're cutting and then they're putting it in. You have to be careful with your cutting, so make sure that it all fits. But I think if you're handy, this is something that you could probably take on this project. Okay, and the last thing I want to talk to, the one that kind of started it all, this whole trend, is it's called beadboard. And you can see here, there's all these little lines here. Now, this is really pretty. It's more of a country farm look, but again, very pretty. Really hit the height of the market a couple of years ago. Still in style, but people are going more towards, like I had showed you, the raised paneled or the flat panel. That's kind of where they're looking, or the batten board. That's really where they're going. This, not as much, but again, I think it has its place. I can see this in a bathroom if you want, in a narrow hallway if you want. It's definitely very pretty. Don't be afraid to use it. And I know when I talked about wallpaper last time, there's actually a wallpaper that looks just like this. It's kind of two-dimensional, and you can paint it. So if you don't want to incur the cost of doing a beadboard, check into the wallpaper version of a beadboard, because that might actually help you with that. Okay, so that is it as far as my accent, as far as the wall treatments go. Remember, it doesn't have to be all three walls. It can be just an accent wall. You can feature it over a fireplace. You can put it in a kid's room. You have basements, garage. Okay, you have man caves. You have she sheds. That pegboard could be in a she shed if you wanted to. Think outside the box. There's so much out there. It's a little overwhelming at times, but that is what I'm here for. Please feel free to leave any comment below. Any issues that you may have as far as design, leave your comments below, and I will check it out. I look forward to seeing you guys all next week again. And if there's anything you need, reach out to me. I'll be glad to help you with any design problems you may have. Until then, have a great day, everyone. See you soon. Bye.